Episode 6. He was an asshole. You deserve so much better, Tiff added. We made it to homeroom and grabbed our usual seats. I said hi to some people, and when they asked how was my summer, I'd just smile and say it was great. Carrie's boyfriend, Mark, walked in moments later, and he immediately took the seat next to Carrie. They looked at each other with big googly eyes, and I couldn't help but be a little jealous. Hey, you, Mark said to Carrie. Hello yourself, Mr. Student Body President. Carrie said to him. They leaned closer to each other, and then they just started making out. Tiff and I waited for a while, and finally we shared a look. Tiff coughed, and the two broke it off, looking slightly embarrassed. So, what electives are you guys taking this year? Mark said to us. I'm taking drama class. You know how much I love drama. Tiff replied. Emma and I are both taking AP Studio Art. Carrie told Mark as I nodded. Oh, did you know there's a new art teacher? Mark replied. What happened to Mr. Dawson? I asked him. Retired finally, he answered. Who's the new teacher? Carrie asked. His name is Mr. Hayes. I saw him earlier in the principal's office. He looked all right, but he's also kinda young. Compared to Mr. Dawson? I sure hope so, Carrie said as they laughed. I wasn't paying much attention to homeroom or my next few classes or even lunch. I barely touched my sandwich. I just didn't feel like doing anything. By the time art class came around, I was relieved. It was my last class of the day. I couldn't wait to get this day over with so I could go home and listen to some more cigarettes after sex. So, you got cheer practice today? Carrie asked as we walked inside the art room and took the middle seats. I think I'm just gonna bail, but I'm not feeling very cheerful. I sighed. The bell rang as more students piled up into the room. Our new teacher wasn't in yet, so Carrie and I decided to talk some more. I know this is tough, but I'm your friend, so I'm gonna have to say this. Please don't throw your life away because of some jerkhead. Isolating yourself in your room all day is only gonna make you feel worse in the long run. Just talk to me or Tiff, we're here for you. And don't let whatever happened cloud the bright future you got ahead of you. You deserve to go out into the world and get happy. All that Carrie said was true. It was just harder said than done. So I just gave her a smile, and I hugged her. Thanks, I don't know what I'll do without you guys, I said. Anytime. Carrie smiled back as we pulled away. Good afternoon, everyone. Carrie and I turned our heads to the front of the room to find our new art teacher standing there. He had his back to us as he was facing the board. From his back figure, I noted that he was tall and muscular but lean. He wore a long-sleeved, slim-fit shirt that outlined his figure and some black slacks. He took a marker and started writing his name on the board. Mr. Ian Hayes. His right hand was stretched out as he wrote, and I could make out some sort of tattoos hidden behind the shirt's cuff. That looked familiar. Welcome to AP Studio Art, he said in a low voice. I feel like I've heard that voice before. Mr. Hayes turned around to face the class. I gasped instantly as soon as I saw his face. It was the face that haunted me at night. The face that kept popping into my head every time I tried to forget about that night. My heart was racing so fast, I was getting hot flashes. Damn, he's hot, Carrie whispered to me under her breath. I couldn't respond. I just kept staring up at him. His eyes glanced around the room until it met mine. IT widened instantly as the thought registered to him. He looked at me with an expression I couldn't read. Confusion? Happiness? Intrigue? I will start with the roll call, he said again. He began calling out people's names, and they'd answer to him. He looked so calm and nonchalant. It made me wonder if I was imagining things. Emma Sinclair. His voice cut through my thoughts like a knife. Here. I croaked and lifted my hand just a little bit. He looked at me and smiled. Actually, he smirked. We stared at each other for a few more seconds before he went back to his list and continued calling other names. Holy shit. Times a million. Emma's POV. I'm Mr. Hayes and this AP Studio, ART, as many of you already know. You'll be required to submit an art portfolio for the AP exam. The bar guy, Mr. Hayes, was explaining things about the portfolio we needed to prepare at the end of the school year. Very important stuff, but I couldn't seem to concentrate. Every time I looked at him, I saw glimpses of that night. How gorgeous he looked as he pinned me against the wall. I was arching my back, and I exposed myself to him. shamelessly. How I wanted to feel that feeling again. I wanted to feel full, like when his fingers were inside me. He was taking his sweet time, purposefully teasing and torturing me. He would let his tip enter me, but only a little bit, before pulling away. I was squirming in agony and hunger. Please, I begged. Please, I want it now, I pleaded to him. You're not there yet. It's gonna hurt you. I don't care, just do it. Whoa, girl. Pull yourself together, woman. 3. I shook my head quickly to get the image out of my head. My cheeks were flaring up, and I was getting sweaty, and my heart was racing for no good reason. I tried looking down at my knees, but that actually made things worse. I remembered the moment his hand traveled from my knee to my lower thigh and to the hem of my dress. He slid his thumb underneath the fabric as his hand continued moving up. The feeling of his fingers touching my bare skin lit me on fire. His thumb stopped when it reached the band of my panties. And then, I felt his fingers cupping my wet area through the laced fabric. When he pushed his finger deep inside me, I almost couldn't breathe. He circled my opening with that finger, pulling out and pushing back in. It felt so damn good. And when he slid another finger in, I was on the verge of collapsing. That feeling when his 2 fingers then started doing this scissor movement, parting my core slightly each time, that was the best feeling ever. Miss Sinclair? Are we paying attention? Mr. Hayes' voice abruptly brought me back into reality. Oh, yeah, sorry. I muttered quickly, crossing my legs together since it was getting uncomfortable. I can't believe I'm actually getting wet in the middle of class. His class. Oh, just kill me now. I know this class is the last period of the day. Many of you are probably dying to go home already, so I'll make this quick. Mr. Hayes spoke to the class, but somehow I felt like that was directed right at me. Full story is available on shelfofnovels.com. Click the link in the comment section to get it free.